Hey, Pepin.
Yo, yo.
I've been thinking a lot about the past.
Oh, the past, like time travel, like that one time, episode 4.
No, 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 no. Like things that happened to us in the past. I think that we've really shown who we are on this show quite a bit, but I think that we haven't shown who we are to each other enough.
like like bedroom stuff. What do you mean?
Well, like past experiences that we both share.
I see. Do you have any in mind?
Oh, I have some in mind.
I think we need to talk.
Welcome back. So glad you guys could join us. I am here once again with my best friend Nate. How's it going, Pepin?
Yo, yo, doing good. How about yourself, Peter?
Not too bad. My cat's pretty excited to be here as well. He is our special guest, but he's not really a part of this story, so he'll probably stay in the background.
He's so cute. So cute.
Now, I am remembering a time long, long ago with my good friend Christian Pepin.
Christian Pepin?
Yeah, not Chill 2, but Pepin the Christian.
Oh, Pepin the Christian was pretty weird.
And he didn't swear.
Hmm?
He went to a lot of church events,
Yeah.
and there was this one time where we both went to the Super Bowl.
Yep. I want to be clear about two things. Number one, I didn't swear not because I was Christian, but rather because swearing was stupid. Also, number two, the Super Bowl is not as good as the Super Bowl is not as good as it sounds.
The Super Bowl was an amazing event, probably one of the best of my life.
It was not football,
It was not football, it was hockey.
which doesn't. I don't know why they came up with the Super Bowl, but that's what they call it. That's what Christians call it.
It was this huge event where we went and we watched a Portland Pirates game,
Mm-hmm.
I believe it
Yep,
was.
yep.
Which is, as close to local hockey as you can get in Maine. And there were all these churches from all over the state, and they all went to this same event.
Yep. And the event was, held inside the arena. So the idea is, we all had like kind of, I think, our bracelets and stuff, and we hung out as a group. Each church hung out, and after the game, they were having a whole sermon there. So some pastor was supposed to come out and kind of do some preaching and blah blah blah, and then beyond that, we go to all these different events. So we'd go to, like, I don't know, this toy factory. No, it was a fun house. It was a fun house, not a toy factory. And then we went bowling or something. I mean, there's all these things we're supposed to do, and it's supposed to be like a fun-filled night. But first hockey, and then church stuff.
It was like a big 24-hour event, and it all started at your church. And I remember I showed up, and they were giving out Festival of Life. No, not that. That's a completely different thing. They were giving out Super Bowl T-shirts.
Were they?
I think your church gave out one.
Huh.
They raffled it off,
Yeah.
and this was my first time ever going to the church, and I won.
It was a sign from God.
It was a sign from God himself that I belonged at that church. So we got on a van with a bunch of girls.
And like one or two guys, but they sat in the back. The girls sat with us. One of them was cute. I fucked her later. I mean, not that night. It's like many nights later, like almost a year later.
It took Nate a year to summon the courage to talk to this one cute girl.
This is the girl I tried to hug, and she gave me a high five.
It was his first man on woman high five.
She's features in the episode Virginity Stories with Matt Drew.
She is indeed. And she's well, she knows the cinder block well.
So we're in the van, and the ride's kind of long, and I think me and Steve were playing these games. I think we had some riddles, but we also had a few like dumb kind of game riddle things. Like I think we did the whole thing. I think we call it the snaps. Wait, you remember snaps?
I remember Snaps very well. Snaps is the name of the game.
Ben Affleck.
You got it.
Yes.
And that was it.
So there's this weird game that we would play with people where there's like a whole code word to this whole thing, and we're not gonna give it away, but you say exactly what Meader did, maybe a little more, and I can guess who he, like some celebrity or some major manufacturer or something like that. This same kind of name or title, I can guess it based off what Meader says and the snapping.
And of course, it's somebody that somebody else suggests secretly to me for me to transmit over to Nathan. And of course, we were very, very good at it. And we had some little tricks that made us even better than the normal pair would be. We were like the best at snaps.
We amazed people, and I also had some magic tricks I was pulling on people for some reason. So we're just like blowing people's minds that van ride.
For sure. And I think that we got munchkins, but I don't remember very well. Maybe I just wanted there to be munchkins. So we went to the Portland Pirates game. I think, did we sit around for a while and there was a carnival? Was there a carnival, Nate, or was that a different day?
I think that's a different day. I don't remember any carnival.
There was definitely, I went to, that was the only, it wasn't a carnival, it was a circus, and it was the only time I've ever been to the circus, and I'm pretty sure it was with the church. But I think that was a different day.
Yeah, no idea.
Anyway, we went to the Portland Pirates game, and we went in and we watched the hockey game, and then after the hockey game, everybody, some of the people left because they were actually there for the hockey game, but there was like tons and tons of little kids there, and teens, and they were all there to listen to the pastor talk about God. And he came out onto the ice. He wasn't skating. He just kind of walked out.
There was a carpet.
And everybody was really excited, and they were shooting t-shirts into the audience and tennis balls. And if you got a tennis ball, you went to this little desk out in the courtyard and you got a prize. And everybody wanted a tennis ball. And apparently he was talking about God or something, but nobody was listening because we were all talking.
There was a lot of prizes. Like, that's how they get you. Like, tons and tons of prizes. Like, there's an iPod. This is back when iPods were, like, in demand. They had, like, TVs. Like, they had a lot of fucking shit.
It was like, if you want a brand new HD 4K TV, these aren't even going to be around for another 3 or 4 years. If you want one and you love Jesus, shout yes!
And people would scream, yes, yes.
And everybody wanted Jesus.
Yeah, and to be honest, like, I'm kind of a quiet person in general, but when I'm allowed to yell, like, and scream, I love it. Like, so this is, as much as I kind of don't like, big events and stuff, if I can scream and yell like a hockey game, like, that's all I do, is as I scream and yell, make myself lose my voice. And during this thing, like, they're trying to hype out the crowd, be like, yeah, do you want Jesus? Yeah, like, go, yeah. Like, they're all these, like, crowd hyping techniques, and all incredibly effective, and they also caused me to lose my voice, but it was amazing because I got to scream and yell so much. Steve, have you ever noticed that, like, at any Christian event you've gone to, you haven't really gone to that many, but at the very end, they always kind of, like, ask, okay, let's bow our heads in prayer. And then they do this whole thing like, okay, if you haven't accepted Jesus Christ, I'm just asking you right now to accept it. And then if you have, just raise your hand. You know that whole thing?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm usually pretty good about not looking. But every time I do look, I find that they have the cameras going on people, like, kind of zooming in on people who are raising their hands. So during that whole thing that happened during the, the hockey thing, or after the hockey, during that whole thing that happened after the whole sermon and prayer and stuff, it's like, I kind of looked up, and on the Titantron, they're, like, zooming in on people who are raising their hands in the audience. Like, it's like, okay, this is supposed to be confidential, but it's not very confidential.
Did you raise your hand so you could get on the Titantron?
That would have been a great idea. Just raise my hand, and then I just like look up and just stare at them. I know what you're doing.
And then when you look up, your hair flips back and you have 666 written on your forehead.
Yes.
So after we all accepted Jesus into our heart, we there was there was some downtime to chit chat and socialize while we waited for the van to fuel up or people to leave or whatever we were waiting for.
Yeah, you insulted
So
somebody's dead mom.
well, yeah, we were chit chatting with some girls, and this one girl was like really really sad, and she's like, "I miss my mom," and I'm like, "You're like 16 years old. Why do you miss your mom? We've only been here for like 3 hours." She's like, "My mom's dead," and then she ran to the bathroom, and I was like, "Oh wow, I'm a fucking asshole." But like, how am I supposed to know that her mom was dead? That was like, I felt really bad, obviously.
Yeah, especially about the yo mama jokes you were making earlier.
What? I was doing that too?
No. I think you made one
Oh,
actually.
okay.
I think you made
That
one to
wouldn't
somebody
surprise.
else, but she was uncomfortable with that. Not to
Yeah,
her though, directly.
yeah. But then she came back and I like apologized and like I felt really bad. But people were always giving me dirty looks after that. I was already the outsider. I won the T-shirt that everybody wanted, and then I insulted her dead mom,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't really insult her in any way. I just kind of brought it up in a like a why do you miss her, like a dismissive kind of sense, and that was, that was inappropriate, though I didn't know it.
The correct term might be you triggered the negative emotions of losing her mom, and this was like I mean, within a couple years of losing her mom, so she was still like shaken up by it.
Right, right. So then we went to a fun house, a fun place.
Is this
We all got in the van, and they took us to one of those places where there's like inflatables, and you run around on them and do battle with somebody else who's tied to the other end of the rope.
this place was absolutely
And
incredible. I mean, it was like a giant gym. It had a indoor soccer field. It had like 6 different basketball courts, like full size. I mean, maybe not full size, but close to full size. Like 6 of them just kind of lined up in a row. It had I think it had some air hockey tables. It had a whole upper deck, which had lots of different little games and stuff in there. And they had I think a ball pit. They had the thing where you could play sumo, so you could get up in those like giant kind of sumo suits and kind of like do battle against other people in sumo suits. They had I think a few balance games. Like they had a ton there. Like this place was stacked. Like no idea how that place exists, but all just lots of little games you could play.
and it was absolutely magnificent. And so Nate and I sat in a corner and watched everybody else do stuff.
No, I did stuff.
I didn't.
I played basketball. I played sumo. Uh, that was the night that actually this is the night where there was that cute chick, Jolene, who I don't know why, but she was all into me that night and just kind of wouldn't stop like kind of bumping into me and having me touch her butt and stuff.
Yeah, I was. They were, her and her friend Kate were both being really mean to me, but they thought it was really really funny. And in hindsight, it really was. But that night, it didn't feel funny.
That night I was really confused because it's like, does this girl like me? She seems to like really want to flirt with me and stuff. Okay, she's like going crazy flirting with me and kind of touching and stuff. Okay, I'm okay with this. And then it's never spoken again after. I was just
So there was one point. There was one point where the girl who I had made fun of, or who I had brought up her mom, she was like, "Oh, I'm so cold," so I gave her my hoodie, and she wore that for like the rest of the night. I don't know if I ever saw that hoodie again.
that poor hoodie.
So after the inflatable place and the jacket and Nate touching girls' butts on accident purpose.
Well, no, it's like that thing that girls do where it's like you're following them and all of a sudden they stop and they kind of put their butt out and you kind of like accidentally run into their butt over and over again.
Are you sure this was an accident, Nathan?
Well, it was one of those things where it's like, oh no, it's too late to stop and she wants this. Okay.
Oh, That sounds bad. So then we went bowling.
Steve was actually quite a bowler.
Yeah, rolling spheres down lanes to knock over pins is one of my talents. I was quite the bowler, but it was like glow bowl because it was like 11 at night, and then we stayed there till like 2 in the morning.
Mm.
But after like 2 games, nobody really wanted to bowl anymore, and we were all tired.
Yeah, well, I like bowling a lot, but I think it was candlepin too. So candlepin's not my thing. I don't like candlepin. If it was normal bowling, like the with the big balls, like I like big balls. I mean, who doesn't like big balls? But small balls, not my thing.
Fair enough. So we had that whole thing. We did the bowling. People were all kind of winding down. Nobody was being jerks to each other anymore. Nobody was really flirting that much anymore. Everybody was just like, all right, when can we go home?
Yeah, and everybody was worn out, tired, and it had been a long night, especially after all the screaming. Like we all.
I don't think you had a voice anymore at this point.
No, no. Maybe that's why the flirting stopped too, because I can make my sexy moves on her. Can
Your
I,
sexy vocal moves where you vocally touched her butt.
yeah, it's like hey babe, there's a flower in your garden. I planted that there.
Now I want to pluck it.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like Led Zeppelin. So then we got in the van and we went back to the church. And did we do anything after that? Or did we just go home and go to sleep?
I think we pretty much just went home and went to sleep. It was a little confusing. I think we stayed there a little bit extra, but there's nothing much that happened there. That we may have actually gone back to your house and smoked weed. I don't know.
No, probably.
I mean, it's kind of what we did at the time.
It's like good Christian.
Yeah, like good Christians.
A big night of accepting Jesus, touching girls' butts, bowling, and smoking weed.
Yeah, it's like I didn't swear, but and I wasn't afraid to, take a few.
Burn that bush.
Burn the bush.
Kind of an anticlimactic end. Can we make up an ending?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. So then we went back to the church, and suddenly the church turned into a Babadook.
Now, if you're not really sure what a Babadook is, imagine two cups side by side, and there's about 26 marbles in each, but these are glass marbles filled with little pockets.
Helium.
Is it helium? Because I thought that was just little pockets of air, but little pockets of helium.
Yeah. It's like some of them are helium, some of them are oxygen, some of them are nitrogen. It's like little gases, but most of them are helium.
Okay, so that actually explained something to me, because there was a riddle in the Middle Ages about. Oh, not a riddle, but this whole question is kind of confusing. But essentially, this guy had some Babadooks he was selling, and he actually made a bunch of money off of it, and people didn't know why. So I guess it's because they were filled with helium, so they're a little bit lighter than air. So he made money off the difference because people didn't know that. They want. Yeah, okay. But anyway,
they were buying the cheaper light helium versus the heavy air.
Yeah. So that's how they got around it, and I guess it's what we use nowadays. But as you're saying,
actually, that's not a Babadook. That's a Duke of Bob. A Babadook is a house with chicken legs that can, go up and down on its legs, but it's actually a house on legs. And the church, little did we know, was in fact a Babadook. And it actually walked us all back home and dropped us off.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's kind of like those like bathtubs from the 40s where they have like legs, and it's kind of creepy, kind of like that.
And we had all the girls' butts over, and we all smoked some weed together. The girls went home, but the butts stayed.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It was a great night.
Yeah. Yep, great night. Great. I definitely agree. And if you agree, you can let us know at twitter.com/WNTT1.
Or on Facebook at We Need to Talk Show.
And if you really love us, we have a Patreon. You can donate to us there. Just search for us on Patreon. We Need to Talk.